update, go live. And I think we should be live, or we're going live right now. It's loading, I believe.
Yeah, we should be live while it's loading on Zoom.
Okay, this is an awkward beginning. Okay, now we're live. So I just bought Zoom. I bought the Facebook Live version, so this is all new. I have Brian Downard here with me, and the cool thing about Brian is he was one of my first coaches when I was first starting out in the digital marketing space. He helped me a lot bring everything together. And he has this new system of reaching out to prospects and landing either calls or just like opportunities to land more clients for your agency. So he's here to talk about that. And if you're here right now, give us a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. The more engagement we get, the more people we can reach, the more lives we can impact. So Brian, I will let you take it away, man. Just introduce yourself.
Awesome, Andrew. Thanks for hanging in with me the last 10 minutes while we figured this out. That was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the awesome intro. It's funny, man. I know you were originally a student of mine, but times change, you people grow, and now it's the tables have turned. So I'm excited to learn from you and be involved in your new program.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been running my own business for 5 years now, full time, just doing digital marketing consulting, mostly lead gen and inbound marketing. So content marketing, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Been frustrated over the past year about how I was attracting clients. Wasn't super into doing paid ads yet. My income a couple of years ago just wasn't there. So I really just wanted to do something better and find something that I didn't have to manually do, but that I could kind of scale up and get opportunities in the door. And I came across LinkedIn and some LinkedIn automation tools. And after a couple of weeks of doing it, just was blown away by the amount of people who would actually respond and get back to me and the conversations I was creating. So I knew this is something that I had to share. And I even brought on a couple of done-for-you clients who I'm actually doing this for as a service. So I've been able to test it in a couple different markets and see that results are not just my own, but other people can get it too.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you were doing this for other people too and getting paid for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And guys, the reason why we're doing this on Zoom right now is because Brian's going to share his screen and show you exactly what you need to do. So stay around for that. I haven't seen this in action yet, so I'm excited for you to share. What's the next step? What do you want to do?
Cool, man. Yeah. Well, I'll do the overarching strategy first, just kind of talk about some high level stuff, and then we can get into the nitty gritty. Before you go into the automation tools and go crazy and get excited with all the fun stuff and the sexy stuff, you really have to optimize your profile first. So I'm going to go through my profile. One of my clients just point out a couple of things that you guys should be thinking about when you're creating your profile. And really the number one thing is it's not about you, it's about who you want to serve. And it's more of a sales letter too. And you're pulling them in, capturing their interest, because we're going to be reaching out to hundreds of people here a day at some point after you kind of build it up to that point. And I'll talk about that too, so you don't get banned from LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
But making sure your profile is optimized is the first thing. Then we're going to be getting into identifying the niche/area you want to go after, building up lists. So then you can use your automation tools to automatically start connecting with people. And once they start accepting your connection request, you start automating messages to them. So the one thing I really want to say here is this is a strategy you have to put into action for 10 to 14 days at a minimum before you're going to start to see a return. And when I say per day, I'm talking literally like 10 minutes per day. Nice. Learning the process is a little bit involved, but this, if you do it consistently, it's only going to take you 10 minutes a day. And I promise you, after doing that consistently for 2 weeks and you start to get the conversations in, you start to get the ball rolling, you're not going to want to stop because that momentum keeps building. People who the first couple of weeks and who you just were connecting with even on the day 1, day 2, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that momentum starts to build. You're all of a sudden connecting with 100 people a day and you've got a lot of opportunities.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing it's not just one message. Are there follow-up messages involved too?
Yeah. So there's a couple of follow-up messages. I actually, learned the hard way doing this. And this is why, of course, you guys want to be here and learn from us so we can get, shot first walking in the door. But I learned that if you refresh your browser, Chrome or anything, you lose all your data. So I did that right before I hired a VA to do some of this. So it took me about a week or two to build that back up. because I lost all my data. But yeah, I do have some follow-up messages. And for everyone who's watching and is interested, I've got some scripts too that I'm happy to drop in the comments below that you guys can plug and play for your outreach as well.
That would be awesome. Anybody that's on the live right now that wants those scripts, give us a hashtag scripts down below and Brian will get them to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So cool, man. I will flip my camera around and we can get started and look at some of this stuff.
If you guys are excited, give us a heart, give us a like, get that engagement up, reach more people. And I'm pumped because I haven't seen this yet. So
cool, man. Well, ignore some of the stuff on my desktop, but this is funny. While we've been talking, while you and I were trying to figure this out, and this is the beauty, I'll kind of tease you guys some of the sexy stuff right now. Look at what's happening right here. I'm not hands-free. My hand's right here. My mouse is right there on the screen. And what you're watching is LinkedIn automatically start to connect with people and do these things for us automatically. So it looks like it paused
going on in the background while we've been talking.
This has been going on in the background. Here you go. So you can see in the top left, next action will start in 1 second. Here. So again, no hands. This is all happening automatically. It's personalized too. You're seeing her first name being added in there. And so why this is on a timer is the software that I'm using wants to make it look like an actual human is doing it. If you were just connecting with hundreds of people all of a sudden, you're going to get banned by LinkedIn. So I'll talk about that a little bit and just give you some guidelines that you can work within so that doesn't happen to you. I've never been banned. The clients I work with haven't been banned. So if you stay within those guidelines, you should be good. But as you can see here in the top left, nothing's going to happen again for 25 seconds. But yeah, man, while you and I have been talking, this has just been running and connecting with people for my client. Like I run this while I go to bed at night and I wake up with dozens of conversations in my inbox. Like it's exciting.
Awesome. Yeah.
So this is in Chrome. This is running for a client. I'm going to minimize this a little bit.
Let me ask you, how many connections do you have right now?
Good question. Let's open it up.
Is it like a Instagram follow, unfollow, or is it just like you're racking up these connections and they're just staying with you?
I had at least 1,000 in the past month or so. Nice. Probably closer to 45 days, but you can see
highly targeted too, because it's searching for those people in the industries that you want to work with, right?
Yeah, for sure. You can see here in the background, this is just still running while I'm doing other stuff. Like I work on other things and I generate leads in the background. So this is exciting stuff, guys. You just, again, once you learn the process, give it 10 to 14 days to build up that momentum. And once you get to that point, you're not going to want to stop. And if you just realize, hey, you don't want to spend the 10, 15 minutes a day to do this, you can easily hire that out to a VA for, $5 to $10 an hour. So minimal costs and, really high return on the leads.
And I bet we have comments right now. What are you using to automate that? So you want to answer that?
Yeah, of course, man. It's called Linked Helper. So if I open this up again, you'll see it's called Linked Helper. And this is a Chrome extension. So I think it costs like $12 a month. I think if you do month to month, it's like $12. If you buy like 6 months or like a year, it gets a little bit cheaper, but literally $12 a month if you only want to try it for a month. You get the Chrome extension and it connects with LinkedIn.
That's awesome.
Now, there are other tools. I know a lot of people like different things. I personally just came to this one because I just thought it was really intuitive and you can move people in between lists. But I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details here. I'm just going to give you guys the overall idea of how this works. And if you really want to go deeper, we can talk about that. And even Linked Helper here has some training videos where they it's almost overwhelming, their training videos, how much detail they give you. So I won't waste your time there doing it right now. But as you can tell too, man, just in terms of profile views, dropped off a little bit since I passed the VA because I took a week off or so. But when I started doing this, man, I was going from 7 views a week to...
That's incredible. So that's why it's so important to optimize your profile first before you start.
That's awesome. And again, too, before I get to the profile optimization, you can see here, my messages. I got 13 messages. I haven't checked in a day or two, but yeah, see, I'd like to learn more. Sorry. So this person is saying, sorry, I'm not really a Facebook user. That's fine. So I'm going to show you guys 2 different strategies too, because what I'm doing is different than what I'm doing.
You are getting so many comments like, this sounds great. Let me talk more. Dude, that is sweet.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. And so interesting point. I just want to be clear here. You guys see in Safari, Chrome here in the Chrome browser, I'm running this for my client. Now, you have to use Chrome to do this, and it becomes a little bit difficult when you want to do 2 or more accounts from your computer. So that's why I subcontracted out my LinkedIn profile. Again, I can teach you guys how to do this. I can give you some recommendations. I got a good subcontractor. So I'm using Safari here just to check up on mine. I can't run automations on mine right now because my VA, has all of my data, all the LinkedIn stuff. And what's cool is he can export that and send it to me. So if I ever want to start doing it again, I can. But right now, I'm just taking more of a management role in my profile. He's handling all the nitty-gritty things, and he just literally passes me off leads and conversations as they start.
That's awesome.
So yeah, obviously I can just log in and I have all these conversations here rolling already.
Mm-hmm.
Send me the link, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So let's go, just now that I got you guys hyped up and excited about what's possible, let's go back to my profile and we can just talk a little bit about what's going on here. So first thing, make sure you got a good headshot. I mean, it's might be overly obvious for some of you, but if you got some weird picture, or you can't see your face, or it's not, semi-professional, just find a white wall, get out your phone, take a good picture, make sure that's all good. Next thing, your header. This isn't super important. If you are targeting locally and you want to go after, a city, you might want to put the city in the background. I got Detroit here, city I just moved to. And then I just, again, quickly what you do and the benefit of that to someone. So I help B2B service providers fill their inbox with high quality leads. Straightforward. So again, take that same concept, and here in your profile headline, this is arguably the most important thing on your profile, because when people see you online, your header, your headshot, your name, and this follow your profile around. So if you're just saying like, I do SEO or I do Facebook ad lead gen, like there's a million of those people out there. You're not differentiating yourself. You need to be specific.
One thing I want to do right here is, if you guys have this statement in your Facebook profile or on LinkedIn or whatever, or if you don't have one yet, drop it down below. Maybe there's somebody here that can help you out, do something else. But if you have this little snippet, I help blank do blank so they can get blank, just drop it down below. If you don't have one, make one up on the spot, and then you can drop it into your LinkedIn and Facebook profile.
Yeah, it looks like I just checked the live. We got a lot of people watching and a lot of comments. So
I love it.
If you guys have questions, obviously throw them down in there, and then hopefully we can get to them towards the end here.
This is great. Keep going.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so again, just be specific about in your headline who you serve and how you serve them, the benefits it would be to them. So I'm not saying I'm a B2B lead generation expert. I'm saying I help B2B companies attract 10 to 20 high quality leads every month. And honestly, now after doing this for a little bit, I'm more confident that I can say closer to 15 to 30. Even with my client who's still running here in the background, as a much, I guess, upper echelon client she's going after, I thought it'd be hard to reach those people. We're still getting just as good response rates. So we'll get to the scripts and how you reach out in a minute, because it really comes down to that, reaching out from a point of wanting to provide value and connect with people and not try and jam your services down their throat. So there's obviously some nuance there, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Cool.
Again, in your bio, just make it really specific about what you do. Get to the point quickly. So you can see here, I'm just saying, I'll get to the point. I can send you 10 to 20 leads every month and turn your LinkedIn profile into a client magnet. If you have a well-defined audience and offer. So again, you guys can read this, but I literally just have this so it's super specific, super straightforward, and tell them, here's how to get it if you're interested. You guys want 10 to 20 leads? Contact me here.
Love it.
Just I wanted to make sure this is all in order before you guys get started, because you're going to be sending a lot of people to your profile. And if it's just a crappy headshot and it says digital marketing consultant and it's all about you, no one's going to care. You need to tell people what you can do for them and make sure it's specific to who you want to ultimately serve. Again, I'm doing B2B companies. Here's the benefit.
Yep. And Christian, thanks. I help realtors get seller leads so they can have more money inventory and make more money. I like it. I think I said money twice. He didn't say money. I'm just a bad reader. But yeah, if you guys have that, just drop it down below. I'd love to hear what you do, but keep going, Brian.
Cool. So I'm going to get out of Safari now for a minute, because I have to go actually show you how we're doing this in LinkedIn. So what's happening right now automatically on my client's profile is we're connecting with lists that we've created of her ideal audience. So all these people, like you can see here, Ray, she must work as a product or a VP marketer at, and here we go, skipping LinkedIn. Yeah. So some people you can't send invites to if they've got a lot of pending invites. She hasn't been online in a while, which is what that said. So once in a while, you have to come check it and make sure it still runs, because you might hit a profile with a snag and you just have to refresh. It's not a big deal. But again, her target audience was high-level VPs at product brand companies. So brands that have products, physical products that they sell, and they do millions of dollars. So for her, we actually bought a Sales Navigator. This costs about, I think, $80 a month. I'm going to actually stop this.
You don't need Sales Navigator.
You don't. You don't need Sales Navigator. Awesome. But because, so you can do this with just a $10, $12 a month linked helper tool. That's what I do for my own profile. I got it for her because she was going after a very, very specific audience, and I was able to have more filters that way. So I'm not going to do the Sales Navigator stuff right now. I'm just going to show you guys how I would build a list the free way.
Sweet.
So you go up to the search bar, go to people. This is really easy. Like it's over. Like it's almost stupid how easy it is, and that people don't do this more. Like it's crazy that I pisses me off that I didn't do this sooner. And you get up to 30,000 LinkedIn connections. That is so many leads you can have.
Yeah.
So cool. So we're in the search area for people. You're going to want to go to all filters. You're going to want your second and third connections. Now, first connections are people you're already connected to. You don't need them. But you want your second and third connections because those are people who are connected to people you're already connected with. Now, if you don't have a lot of profile connections yet, you might want to start with your personal network and your community. Get as many as you can, because that will open the door to other second and third connections in your community and make it easier to connect. You can't connect with anyone who's not at least a third connection.
Love it.
So then we'll do title. So let's say you are looking for dentists, just as an example, dentist. And then location. Let's just, say Houston, Texas, for whatever reason. Houston, Texas area. So it's literally just those things I did right there. Connections, dentists, Houston. Apply. Now, 1,500 results, man. That is so many people, right?
That's awesome.
These are all opportunities. And these are just my third and second connection. These are people I'm connected to through other people. Like there's probably more that I'm just not connected with. If I start connecting with these people, that'll open even more doors. So what I'm going to do here, you go to LinkedIn Helper. And again, if you really need the nitty gritty stuff on LinkedIn Helper, they got training videos. I'm not going to, go through this methodically, but essentially you go to collect second and third contacts. You have a list here. You want to have a list. So again, I'm doing this for a client. She has product brand marketers. I've got that list here, 690. I'll just create a new one for you guys. Call it example list. So there's 0 people on this list. I'm going to collect contacts for inviting. Now, hands-free.
That is so cool.
I let this run for a while, and you'll see the number here, 0, should start to go up eventually as it starts to add people to the list. Yeah, see 10. It just added 10. And what you want to do is give this about a half hour. Again, do other work. Let this run in the background. You'll get to a point where LinkedIn will only serve up to 1,000 search results at a time. So what you'll have to do is, as you connect with some of these people, you go back, research them, and as it opens up more doors, you can get more specific about titles, who you search, and you're just going to have to get creative if you start to exhaust an area, because there's only so many people in a city. And again, I'm going really specific. I'm doing dentists in Houston. If you're going after dentists, there's 1,000 other cities you could go after in the country. So you let this run, and here's a quick tip too. This is a little bit weird about LinkedIn Helper. You can't minimize it, hide it, or have like another window open. It has to be open like this. So I just close it. I make it really small, and then I have my other windows just over the top of it. And I come back later to check on it. I always do that. And at night, when I let this run automatically, I'll just close my computer and leave it cracked, so it's just running while I sleep.
That's awesome.
So I just wanted to be clear. If you guys hide it or minimize it or do anything, it will stop running.
Cool. And for the people that joined recently, Brian has scripts for the outreach. And if you want them, he's providing them. So if you want those, give us #scripts down below, and Brian will give those to you absolutely free. So I haven't
Sure,
seen
man.
these gifts, but I'm excited to get them.
Yeah, man, they're good. People, I've got some really positive feedback from them already. So what I did is I just hit stop. Again, I could keep it running. I'd probably get up to 1,000 here, but I'm just going to stop it. In this, you can do, there's no limit to the amount of people you can collect for your lists, because you're not actually taking any actions, like you're not friend requests or you're sending connection requests, you're not sending messages. You're literally just using the helper, linked helper, to collect the lists of people. So what happens after that is you now actually, because they're on a list, you need to start inviting them, right? So I'm going to go back to my clients list. I'm not going to invite random dentists for her, of course. But I will go back to product brand marketers, the list of people that I already have. And you have a message here. So here's, again, I'll give you guys these templates, but here's just an example. Really casual, really straightforward. Hey, first name. You can personalize it. It's cool. Like you have these little personalizations. So it'll be their first name. Whoever I'm sending it to, it's personalized. Hoping to expand my network and connect with more product brand marketers like you. Would love to have you in my network. Really straightforward. And again, I'm being specific to the niche. So, more dentists like you, more chiropractors like you, etc. Make it specific to the list of people you collected.
Cool.
You have your message. Then you're going to go to invite. Now, this is important. You can only start with 20 a day, and you can add 10 a day on top of that. So after 8 days, you can build up to 100. Oh, sorry, 1 second, man.
What are you doing?
I spilled a little bit of water on my computer, so I decided to dump it off real quick.
Oh no!
No, it's cool, man. This thing's waterproof, so
this is great. Keep going.
Yeah. So, anyways, man, just make sure that you guys, when you're doing this, you start at 20 and you slowly build up to 10 a day. If you start at 100, they're going to ban you. And if you go above 100, eventually you're going to get banned. I've heard this happen to them. So just be careful there, guys, and make sure you are sticking within those ranges. And once you get to 100, you can stay there. If you're doing it consistently, you can do 100 every single day, and it really starts to add up.
Love it.
Cool. So now as people start to accept your friend request, so again, I'll just show you guys an example. You already saw it running in the background, but if I hit start profiles inviting, it's going to do what it was doing earlier. Like I showed you, you'll see here in the top left, it says 2 seconds, whatever, and it just starts running. Cool. Good so far?
Yeah. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to ask them down below, and we'll get to them at the end of this. What's the word for it? What you're showing us.
It's masterclass.
Masterclass.
Cool. Right on, man. So I'm going to stop that. So we're not profile inviting anymore. Closing this up. I'm going to go back here to LinkedIn. Now what's going to happen is once you do this consistently, and again, this is why the consistency is important, you're going to start to add new connections. So you go to my network. I'm sorry, I should have done this slower. Go to my network. Click on this number right here. And this will give you a list of all your latest connections, right? So here's recently added. So go back to linked helper. You're going to go to message to first connections. So message 1, here is my first message that I'm going to send out to them. And this, again, I'll get you guys these templates in a little bit, but it just says, hey, thanks so much for connecting with me. I'd love to connect with you on the phone for a few minutes when you have time to see if there's any way we can support/refer each other. Either way, have a great week. So I'm leaving them no room to be upset by this. I'm not pitching anything. I'm literally saying I want to support/refer each other. Now, smart people will, not see through this, but they'll know what that means. But they appreciate the fact that you're saying, let's support and refer each other, not let me sell you something. So I've had people, you get some different responses. Sometimes people are like, hey, what specifically are you hoping to do? Other people like, sure, happy to have a conversation. Others, I'll show you some examples here in a second, like, I want to work with you. Like, I read your profile. Like, can we talk about your services?
That's awesome.
So you'll get a variation, of course, but once you start to get messages in, you manually take over those conversations. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing here, you see I have 0 recipients found. That's because this morning I already ran this automation to all of her new contacts, but I can do collect, and I only have 1 new one in the last couple hours. So that's fine. But basically, this is a little trick here too, by the way, guys. When you hit collect message recipients, if you don't stop it pretty quick, like click it and stop it, it'll start to collect old contacts. So what you can do here is go to view collected contacts, and then you can start to look, okay, who's in my queue? Who's going to receive these messages? And you can start to exclude people if they're not a new connection. Like maybe you connected with someone a couple months ago, you don't want them on there, obviously, you can just exclude them. So just keep that in mind. So you're not obviously bugging old connections and they're like, dude, we already talked, like, why are you sending me messages? And it happens. Like I've sent some people, messages that I probably shouldn't have, but it's part of the learning process. So that's why you guys are here, again, to not make the same mistakes. Cool. So then what happens after that? After you collect your new connections, the people you've been connecting with 100 a day, you can send them a message. And it's literally the same thing. You go to broadcast, hit start message broadcast. And so you can send up to 150 messages a day. But again, start at 20 a day, build up. For this client, because we're going after...
How do I know what parameters I should use? Because you can change that, right?
Right. So for connection requests per day and for messages per day, start both at 20, and then every day you can do it, add 10. But if you take like a week or two off and you stop doing it, you can't just go right back to 100. You have to build back up.
Okay. And I could do that in Linked Helper, but I would get banned in LinkedIn, right?
Yeah. If I do this, watch, if I go like 150, I think is the max, but if I go 151, yeah. See?
Okay.
Warning.
Okay, that's awesome.
But again, they will let you send 150 messages or 100 like connection requests your first day, but you will get banned because it's weird to LinkedIn that you were doing nothing. Now you're doing all of this. You have to slowly build up to that point.
So the first, let's just go over that right now. What are the parameters when you're first starting out and then over time?
Right. So when you're first starting out, you can do up to 20 connection requests per day. And then every day after that, you can add 10. So after 8 days, you should be at about 100. So first day is 20, second day is 30, 40, get to 100, stop. With messages, you can do that, start at 20, you can build up to 150. But in my experience, you're almost never going to send 150 messages in a day. The only time that might apply is if it is a follow-up message to people who didn't respond to your first one. So you take people who didn't respond to your first message, you want to send them a follow-up message, there might be a couple hundred people who didn't respond, that's when this is going to happen. But if you were just doing 40 a day and you jump to 150, that's going to be bad. So just make sure you're spreading this out, guys.
Are there follow-up templates in your scripts that you're providing?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want those scripts, hashtag scripts down below. Brian will get them to you.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
And then, so you saw from me and this client, it was only 40. We're connecting with a highly specific audience for her. So honestly, the most messages I've ever sent in a day for her was about 40. So if you see, like, if I go here to recipients, view collected recipients, these are all the people, the process to have got it. So we've only done 145 messages for her because, again, her audience is so specific. They're all VP of marketing at high-end companies. So, but for me, on my LinkedIn profile, and I'll show you guys this different strategy in a second, I wasn't, and actually I'll pull up the scripts right now just so you guys can see it.
That would be sweet.
Because I want to show you the two different approaches.
People are loving it. Jeremy wants your scripts. Rocco wants your scripts. Chris, David is saying this is sick. It is awesome. What's up, Alfredo? I actually met Alfredo the other day. What's up, Mark?
What's up, guys? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are liking this. So again, I'll get you guys this in the PDF form. But
and one thing I didn't mention to anybody, like the guides and just everything you create aesthetically just looks freaking beautiful.
I appreciate that, man.
This looks so sweet.
I know. I'm not a perfectionist, I would say, but I probably spend too much time, on this piece of. But I enjoy it, man. It's a passion of mine. So
yeah, it looks sweet.
But here is, what I call it every niche sequence, because you can use this for any niche. And this is what I'm doing for my clients. It's pretty much like I already showed you, really straightforward connection request, really simple, can we support, refer each other message. In the follow-up, if they don't respond, you can send them a piece of content relevant to what you do. If you really want to go after a client and be really specific, like if they're a high-end person, you really want their business, an alternative to that is to find an article they were featured in and send it to them. The only problem is you can't scale that. That does have to be personalized. And then lastly, it's just a friendly follow-up message. Now, For what I'm doing in my LinkedIn profile and what I've hired out a VA to do, like I said earlier, I moved to a new city. I moved from LA to Michigan. And before I moved to Michigan, I wanted to build up a community. I wanted to have clients. I want to get referrals, right? So I started a Facebook group for Detroit founders and marketers.
Oh my God, this is so sweet. If you
Detroit
guys
Founders and
don't
Marketers
have,
Club.
if you don't have a Facebook group for your area, you should start one. And you have 226 people in this Facebook group. That's incredible.
Yeah. We'd been only doing this for about a month. I got 4 more people who want to join. My VA took over this a week ago. So now literally all I have to do is accept people into the group and make sure my VA is not screwing anything up. But yeah, we get some decent engagement. I posted something yesterday, 10 comments.
For a local area, that's incredible engagement. And for 226 people, that's awesome.
Little hack I learned from you, Andrew. Right here, I posted this on April 17th, a welcome post. I'm continuously tagging new members in this. Mm-hmm. And it's got hundreds of comments at this point. So I literally just keep showing up in their newsfeed locally over and over and over again because of this thing. So you guys are probably wondering, what the hell? I thought we were doing LinkedIn. We're getting there. So sales, just to me, you have to provide so much more value than everyone else out there because everyone else is asking. You have to give. So I did this because I wanted to be able to connect with people and come from a place of providing pure value and saying, hey, I'm not selling you anything. Come be in the club. We can hang out, learn, and grow together, and then we'll find opportunities to work together if there's a fit, or we can refer each other. Mm-hmm. People eat that shit up, and you become a person in a position of authority to them. And now, any of those 200 people, I could ask them for a phone call, no problem. So check this out. This is even crazier, guys. You're going to love this shit. Okay. So because I'm not asking them for meetings, right? Because I'm coming from a place of pure value, in the last month, I have a list of 50 people here who have asked me for meetings. Literally 50 people, you can see here on the right. Wants to meet, wants to meet, wants to talk, wants to meet, wants to meet, wants to meet, all this crap, man, like crazy. So some people I did throw in here because I wanted to get, like, see this get meeting. This guy, the VP of marketing for the Detroit Red Wings is in my group.
That would be sweet.
No, and he was cool, man. He was talking to me. So I'm trying to hook him up with my friend who's got a podcast out here. Again, just leading with pure values. And again, he's a high-level client, or would be a high-level client. So I'm just leading with so much value that, you know, when I ask, hey, do you want to have a conversation? He can't say no. Mm-hmm. So where does LinkedIn fit into all of this? For my profile, what I'm doing here is I'm leveraging the LinkedIn automations that I just described to you. And I'm going, let me back it up here. And I'm going into the search, and you can be niche specific, but because Detroit isn't, you know, a huge sprawling city, and I'm looking for referral partners from these people to introduce me to more people, not just clients out of them, I was searching for entrepreneurs, founders, and or marketers in the Detroit area. So you can do something like marketing, you know, my second and third connections, like I already showed you guys this already, Detroit. And I'm making lists and literally just like I showed you, inviting them, but now I'm using this script instead.
And then taking them to your Facebook group.
Exactly. So, hey, first name, I live in city, blah, blah, I'm connecting your area, blah, blah, blah. So message after they connect that. I'm not saying anything about the group. I'm just connecting with them first, using the city as the ploy. And then the next one, I'm just like, literally, hey, thanks so much for connecting with me. I just started a free Facebook group for our community so we can connect and refer each other. I'd love to have you as one of the group members. If you're interested, I'll send you the link. If not, no worries. Have a great day. So I get some people who are like, oh, I don't use Facebook or I don't like it, but at least they're replying, and I have an email list that I send them to. So I'm getting opt-ins there. But again, guys, doing this for a little more than a month now at this point. And you just saw the Facebook group's got more than 220 members in it already. And I now have finally outsourced this to a VA to take over. And now that I actually live in this area, I just moved out here like 10 days ago. I'm still at my girlfriend's parents' house right now. Well, we're waiting for escrow to close on our home. Once I get in there, once I get settled in, I'm just going to start going through that list, start connecting with all these people. And I've already built myself a referral network before I even moved to this city.
That's incredible. And then you can host an event talking about Facebook ads or email automation or something. And then you just dive into this group. Who wants to learn about this? Then you get high quality leads coming to your event. You could easily get like 3, 4, 5 sales right there from that event.
That was the end goal.
That's incredible.
Like short term, meet as many people as possible, get as many referrals as possible. Long term, I want to host events in the city and be obviously that guy, a go-to marketer in my area. So I'm going to be doing a live training in my community next week. I'm talking about the local celebrity technique, which is essentially what I'm doing here.
That's awesome. If you guys love this, give us a heart, give us a like. Brian is the man. This has been incredible, and you just gave us so much. I'm so glad I bought Zoom so you could share your screen.
I told you it'd be worth it, man.
It was. And I hope everybody here watching got a lot of value out of it too, and start implementing this. So to recap, use Linked Helper, and you don't need Sales Navigator with Linked Helper. You connect with people first, and you should do 10 connections and then add it by 10 per day, right?
Yeah, you can start at 20. Yeah, I mean, 10 you can be really safe, but 20 is okay for your first day.
And again,
day. The most important thing, guys, do it consistently. Just do it for 2 weeks straight, and I promise you'll be happy with the results.
Love it. So first day, 20 connections, and then second day, 30, third day, 40, and then go up from there until you hit 100, and then just connect with 100 people per day. And then send messages, right? So you have those scripts. If you want Brian's scripts, hashtag scripts down below, you can use those. And you send out how many messages per day starting out?
You can start at 20 a day and then build up from there.
10 per day after that until you hit 150?
150. But again, in most cases, if you're doing this daily and you're sending messages to your new connections every day, there's probably going to be maybe about 30 to 50 on the high end. But where the 150 messages comes into play is after you start to do follow-up messages. So when people don't reply, they go onto another list. Those follow-up messages you saw, you send that out, and that could be hundreds of people at some point. So it's probably smart to do that every other week, so you're not going like from 40 to 150 once in a while. Just be careful that you don't get banned from LinkedIn.
Awesome. And then after that, you're sending them messages. Some you're directing them to phone calls, and some you're directing them to your Facebook group, correct?
Yeah, it really depends on the strategy that you want. The Facebook group, if you're in a place in your business and you can play the longer game and you don't need clients right now, I would recommend that because, again, just being in a position of authority, providing so much upfront value, you can get meetings with any of those people. And the other way works great too, but obviously I'm doing some work for clients and they don't want a Facebook group. They don't want to manage that. So that's just the more direct way to not have to use a Facebook group or anything like that. You can just go direct on LinkedIn with that approach instead.
Awesome. And then hopefully you host a meetup or something through that Facebook group. So that's
I love that, man. And I'll also say too, just a parting advice, LinkedIn is not the place to sell. You get phone calls and meetings with it. You do the selling on the phone. Don't try and pitch them in the messages.
Right.
The message's only goal is to get you phone calls and meetings. Then you see if you can provide value or refer them, help them out in some way, provide value. And even if they won't be a client, they can hopefully start to refer you to some people that might be a good fit.
Love it. Pique their curiosity, get them on a phone call, and that's either you refer or sell. That's sweet. Arlon,
power through some of these questions?
Yep. There aren't too many questions right now. If you guys have any questions about lead gen for your own agency using LinkedIn or anything for Brian, Brian's been doing agency work, has run his own agency for, you said, the past 5 years or so. That's
yes,
crazy.
Sir.
So if you guys have any questions about that, you've been doing it much longer than I have. So if you guys have any questions for Brian on that, shoot him his way right now. Drop in the comments down below. If you love this, give us a like, give us a heart. But Arlon, yes, you can watch it from the beginning. You guys, these are always recorded. It will be in the group, so come back and check it out. David is saying— I did
see one question, from David, right?
Yeah. Your follow-ups are through email autoresponder?
No, the follow-ups are on LinkedIn. So like you saw how I was building a list of my new connections, you basically take all of them who didn't respond, they get onto a new list with its own message. You can follow up that way. Now, honestly, too, if you want to be like a ninja, you can export specific contacts and have their email to do Facebook retargeting and reach out via email.
Awesome. Yes, and Linked Helper is a Chrome extension. It's $12 per month. You do not need Sales Navigator to run it, so you don't need to pay what is Sales Navigator now?
I think it's like 60 or 80 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Awesome.
Hey guys, cool. I will go through the comments later, make sure I get you guys who wants the scripts, the link. And then if you guys are probably watching this as a replay, I'm probably not going to be checking the news comments to get the scripts all the time. Just, scroll up the old comments. You'll probably see a reply in there with the link. Yep.
And connect with Brian on his on Facebook. So send him a friend request. I'm sure he'll accept it. Rocco has a question here for you. So Should we do a niche Facebook group, marketing for plastic surgeons? I guess that's for me too. I would say yes.
Yeah, for sure. If you're not going to do it locally, because if you do it locally, you might only have like 10, 20, 50 people, and they're not going to want to compete, Mm-hmm. So either do city specific or niche specific.
Yeah. And Facebook groups are a great way to get your niche all in one place, and they see you as the expert when you're giving them marketing advice. And a lot of these business owners don't want to do the marketing themselves, or their team's not competent enough. And the people that do it themselves probably wouldn't be a good client in the first place. Yeah. So if you are providing massive value, you are showing them trainings, you're going into Facebook, you're going into funnels, you're going into email automation, they're going to be like, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. And they see the results that you've produced and what they can do, what you can do for their business. They'll reach out to you and say, hey, how can you do this for my practice?
And pile onto that too, Andrew. I mean, I can't tell you how easy it is to refer someone to someone else, and then how good that makes you look. Like, that's providing them so much value. Like, and having this group, now I know a whole bunch of people that I've been connecting. Like, if I go to the welcome post, you see people who have done business in the group already, and they've connected with each other. So when you can provide that kind of value, you can ask these people, for anything. And even if they're not going to be a client, they'll refer you to someone who is.
100%. I love that. Aaron's asking any tips or recommendations for a recently launched craft chocolate maker.
That seems like it's B2C, and B2C is really hard on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes chocolate.
I'm guessing he's asking for a campaign. I would use bots for that, man. I would get a bunch of people on a bot list doing a giveaway, and then just do the marketing through the messenger bot. And it's chocolate, so you can send them like messages why that chocolate's awesome, that sort of thing. Yeah. Just get 80 to 90% open rates, which would be sweet. So yeah, I think that is just about everything. Brian, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. My camera was acting funny. I think it said I can't start my video. The host stopped it. So that's a good stopping point anyways. Let's wrap this up. And guys, appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Thanks so much.
Brian, thank you so much for being here. If you guys want Brian's scripts, give us a hashtag scripts down below. And you can automate that LinkedIn outreach. And yeah, Brian, thank you so much. This has been crazy. And if you guys want to connect with Brian, add him on Facebook, join his Facebook group. It's freaking awesome. So, yeah, thanks so much, man.
Appreciate it, man. Talk soon.
Bye.